So just tell me your name
Lavon Curtis.
and tell me a little about you and Whitney Young, what you know about Whitney Young.
I was hired by Whitney through my uncle, who owned a body shop, who one of the board members recommended that I come and see Whitney about a job. I had just moved here from South Dakota. And he said he needed someone who could take shorthand, so that was me.
So you were his executive secretary?
I was his office secretary
Okay.
because with two people in the office, that's about all there is.
And tell me, what did you think of him when you first met him?
Oh, I thought he was so handsome. And he had a way about him that just put you at ease. And I really enjoyed working for him.
Tell me about one thing you remember, an incident with him or story.
Oh, I can't remember anything special, except he would rush in the office and say, I need a Coke. And then we'd all rush to get him a Coke, and then next thing we know, he'd be rushing out of the office again.
Now, what year was this that you were talking about?
I was 1950, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Because I think I was married about a month before I went down to see about the job with Whitney. I'm trying to think who was chairman of the board that my uncle knew that suggested I go down and see him, but I had worked in South Dakota for 7 years for the Department of Welfare, and I married and moved to Omaha, so I thought, well, I'd just sit at home. And then that's when they said, well, he needed a secretary. He was looking for a secretary.
And what do you remember any of the issues that you guys were dealing with at the time, or that he was dealing?
I remember the Walgreens sit-in, and
Tell me about that.
I don't know the actual process or anything like that, but I do remember them sitting in and about us at the office worrying about whether or not they would be having any physical problems. But they did go and sit down and eat. And that's one of the main things I remember.
What was Omaha like at the time in the 50s?
My aunt and uncle bought a house. I won't say where it is, but the way they got it was because my aunt's brother, who looked like a white man, bought it for them. So you can see they were still keeping, I mean, it was on the northeast side, but still at that, they wouldn't, sell it to him. But my uncle bought it and sold it to them. And I think they were quite pleased with it because they lived there until they retired and moved away.
So it was very segregated.
Yes, it was. Yes, indeed. And I know I was one of the first black to work in the office at Cudahy's. And the only reason I got there again was because I could take shorthand and type. And I couldn't go to work for 2 weeks because they had to hire another black girl to be there with me. I wasn't supposed to evidently mingle with the rest of them, so I had to have somebody there that I could talk to. I don't know, it wasn't bad.
Well, I'm glad to hear your stories, and I'm glad so you were with Whitney for about how long?
About a year and a half, 2 years.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming tonight. I
I
appreciate it.
appreciate it, and I'm so glad I got to meet you because we were just saying, I told my daughter-in-law, I said, well, it's been 60 years. I can't remember anything. And she says, well, this is what you need to do is come down here and see this so you can kind of remember it. Tell me your name, where you live, and how old you are.
My name is Asade. I'm from Summer, California, and I'm 19 years old.
And what did you learn by doing this film?
What I learned by doing this film is that you have a responsibility by,
You start again.
I'm sorry,
No, it's okay.
and I just like take for a second or,
Go ahead, start. Whenever you want.
what I learned from this video is that we have a social responsibility by for that, even though even though it's a hard thing to do, but eventually we can accomplish things, and those all that hard work will eventually pay.
And what you learned by doing this project.
My name is Zurio Marquez, and what I learned about doing this project was that from Whitney Young, I learned that to create social change and stand up for yourself. I learned how to become a leader from patience, passion, and pragmatics. I learned that I am my brother's keeper and that I have a social responsibility.
Great, thank you. Tell me where you're from, because this will be all over the United
Okay.
States. Where do you live?
I live on, do you want the actual street?
No, this is Los Angeles.
I live in Silmar, California.
And how old are you?
I'm 17 years old.
Okay, so do this again. Tell me what your name is, how old you are, and where you live.
Okay. My name is Zurio Marquez, and I'm 17 years old, and I live in Silmar, California.
Give me your name and what your relationship is to the Urban League.
My name is Nolly Knight, and I'm an ambassador, and I've been in the program for 4 years now. I'm a senior in high school, so this is my last year.
And tell me the city you live in.
Omaha, Nebraska.
And what did you learn from the film?
I learned that everyone has influence, and it actually made me reevaluate my life and my influence on people, and inspired me to want to give more and have more of my voice, and just to make a change in any way I can, whether it's small or big.
Great. Okay, perfect. Tell me what you learned here.
What I learned is in direct detail about who Whitney Young was. He made a lot of big differences. He really did. Part of being a big six, it's nice. He sat there and he motivated diversity same way Martin Luther King did, but in a different direction.
Tell me your name and also the fact that in terms of being a part of this, your relationship to the Urban League.
Okay, my name is Joshua Garrett, and I graduated after being in a program, and I've known an associate of the Urban League since I was 7 years old.
And how old are you now?
I'm 19.
Good.
I'm a freshman in college, and anything else? Sorry. I don't know.
That's okay. That's good. Okay.